Hi everyone! Welcome to Tangerine Planet, a place for kind thoughts, smart ideas, and a little sunshine for the world. Let's make a difference, one step at a time, together.
Okay, let's dive in. If you spend, basically any time on social media, you've probably seen this phrase pop up recently. Often feels like a bit of a playful dig, right? Touching grass.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's everywhere. It's become the go-to internet shorthand, hasn't it?
Totally. Is what people say when someone seems maybe a little too plugged into the digital world. Getting really worked up about online stuff, scrolling endlessly, maybe just seems a bit disconnected from actual reality.
Exactly. Like they're suggesting, hey, maybe take a break from the screen. It's that signal for someone who might be, as the internet says, chronically online.
Right. And the suggestion is reconnect with something, physical, something tangible.
It's such a concise little phrase, almost a meme in itself.
It is. But even though it's internet slang, the core idea is, it's simple, it's powerful, and honestly, it's ancient wisdom, isn't it?
Fundamentally, yes.
It just means putting down the phone, the tablet, whatever device, disconnecting from that virtual space, and deliberately, engaging with the world around you, breathing actual air, feeling the sun maybe.
Noticing textures, sound.
And sometimes, literally touching grass.
What's really interesting, though, is that this isn't just some fleeting online joke, this whole touch grass thing. It's actually pointing towards a fundamental human need and a whole set of really profound benefits that, science has been documenting for decades.
And that is exactly what we're getting into today. Our deep dive is based on a source that really takes this viral phrase seriously. It's National Geographic's Ultimate Guide to Touching Grass.
Oh, Nat Geo tackled it. That's great.
Yeah, and they go deep. They explore the why, like the actual science behind why nature is so good for us, and the how, practical ways you can actually bring this idea into your life, especially modern life.
So they're kind of bridging that gap then between this very current online phrase and the solid research about nature's impact.
Precisely. So our mission here is to unpack why this simple phrase has gained so much traction. We want to explore what the research, the stuff cited in the Nat Geo guide, really tells us about these benefits, which are often, frankly, underestimated.
Yeah, people often think, oh, nature's nice, but don't grasp the depth.
Exactly. And then we'll dig into the practical stuff from the guide, the surprisingly varied and doable ways they suggest you can start incorporating more grass touching into your own routine.
Okay, sounds good. It's definitely more than just, telling someone to log off.
Way more. So get ready. This isn't just about taking a walk. It's about maybe rediscovering something really fundamental to our well-being that maybe we're kind of actively ignoring these days.
All right, let's do it. Where does the guide suggest we start?
Well, it starts right where you'd expect given the context, with a prompt.
Okay.
It asks you, the listener, to take a genuine moment. Right now, just reflect. How much time have you actually spent looking at a screen this week? Your phone, computer, tablet? Just add it all up in your head.
Oof. Okay. Slight pause.
Yeah. That's probably a lot, right? It's often quite confronting when you actually stop and think about it. Maybe more hours than, sleeping for some people.
It's definitely up there. And that reaction you just had, that's super common for a lot of people. Actually seeing that number or even just getting a sense of the time spent staring at pixels, it can be a real shock.
Yeah, maybe a bit of shame creeps in. Or hopefully, like you said, maybe it sparks something. Okay, maybe I need to change this.
Exactly. And that feeling really highlights the core issue that Touching Grass is trying to address, our, ever-increasing immersion in the digital world. Often it comes at the cost of actually engaging with the physical world, the one right outside or even inside our homes.
Yeah, totally. Because the phrase itself, even though it's slangy, the meaning, as the source points out, is exactly that. It's about consciously choosing to disconnect from the virtual stuff, the endless scrolling, the pings, the notifications, all of it, and then consciously reconnecting with the physical. Breathing real air, feeling the ground, noticing the details on a leaf, maybe sitting under a tree, experiencing actual, tangible reality.
There's an expert quoted in the guide, Holly Ann Passmore. She's an associate professor of psychology, directs a Nature, Meaning, and Life research lab.
Okay.
And she defines it in pretty much those exact terms. It's about that sensory, physical engagement with the non-digital world.
It's still kind of amazing, though, isn't it, that this idea, which feels so I don't know, basic, human 101, that it got its big modern push, its catchphrase on social media.
Ha! Yeah, the irony is pretty thick there. The very platforms contributing to the chronically online condition are also spreading the message to step away.
A total paradox of our times.
But the reason the phrase hit such a nerve, why it took off, as the Nat Geo guide argues, it's because it points to something real, something documented. It goes way beyond just being a meme. It taps into this truth. Nature really is medicine.
And the guide is really clear on this. This isn't just like a nice feeling or some philosophical concept. There is solid, compelling scientific evidence backing this up, decades of it.
Absolutely. Rigorous studies consistently showing these profound measurable effects on our bodies, our minds, our emotions.
They even mentioned that doctors are starting to like literally prescribe nature.
Yeah, nature prescriptions or sometimes park prescriptions. It's a growing thing. Doctors actually advising patients spend X amount of time in a park this week as part of their treatment.
Wow. That really shows how seriously the medical world is starting to take this. It's moving beyond just, go for a walk. It's nice.
It's becoming part of a holistic view of health, preventative restorative medicine, not just recreation.
Getting a prescription for park time instead of just pills, that's pretty powerful.
And Holly Ann Passmore, the researcher mentioned earlier, she makes a really fundamental point about this. She says we're inherently drawn to nature. It's almost like baked into our biology, an evolutionary pull.
Whether we realize it or not in our busy lives.
Exactly. Whether we consciously acknowledge it or not, that connection is there.
But here's the kicker, right?
Yeah.
She also observes something that explains why maybe we don't prioritize it.
Uh-huh. What's that?
We tend to grossly underestimate how much better it actually makes us feel.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
We think, oh, it's pleasant, maybe relaxing. But we don't really get the depth of the impact, how much it affects our actual physiology and psychology.
And that's where the science laid out in the Nat Geo guide comes in. It gives you the concrete data, moves beyond just feelings. So, looking at the physical health benefits they cite, greater exposure to green space. It's consistently linked to measurable improvement.
Like what specifically?
Things like lower blood pressure, lower cholesterol, key markers for heart health.
Right, really important ones.
And it goes further. Research shows lower rates of major chronic conditions. Think diabetes, asthma, heart disease, even stroke.
These are huge public health issues, so more green space is linked to lower rates of all those.
Consistently, yes. And if you zoom out even more, the research they cite even connects greater green space exposure to lower overall death rates.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah, compared to people with less exposure. It's not just about managing specific illnesses. It suggests being in nature actually contributes to overall resilience. Longevity, even.
That correlation alone is staggering. It speaks volumes about how fundamental nature is for us.
And then beyond the physical, the mental and cognitive benefits are just as strong, often shown in controlled experiments. Studies show time in nature can lead to significant improvements in things like your memory and your attention span.
Attention span. That's something we could all use more of, especially with online distractions.
Tell me about it. Nature seems to be like an antidote to that fragmentation.
Improved memory, better attention, essential for work, learning, just daily life.
It also really impacts your mood. Significantly improved mood, less anxiety, less depression.
Okay, that makes sense intuitively. Feeling calmer, happier outdoors.
But here's something really fascinating they found. Nature exposure actually encourages empathy and cooperation.
Empathy and cooperation. How does that work?
Well, think about it. Contrast the often impersonal, sometimes even aggressive interactions you see online with the pro-social effects observed after people spend time in nature. It seems like different environments literally shape how we relate to each other.
So, being in nature might actually make us better social beings, more connected. That's a stark contrast to potential online isolation.
It really is. And there's even research digging into the how, the potential physiological mechanisms. The guide mentions evidence that trees release certain chemicals into the air.
Chemicals, like airborne compounds from trees?
Yeah, they're called phytoncides, volatile organic compounds. Basically, it's the tree's defense mechanism.
Okay.
But when we inhale them, some research suggests they can actually boost our immune system.
Boost immunity? How?
By increasing the activity of our natural killer cells, NK cells. These are crucial for fighting off viruses, even potentially cancer cells.
Okay, hold on. Boosting immune function just by breathing forest air. That sounds exactly like forest bathing. Right. Shinrin-yoku.
Bingo. The guide makes that connection explicitly. That Japanese practice, which is basically just mindfully immersing yourself in the forest, breathing deeply, using your senses, it's potentially tapping into these very real biological benefits through the air we breathe.
So it's not just woo-woo. There's a potential measurable link between feeling refreshed in the woods and actual immune cell activity.
It seems so. It connects the subjective feeling to objective biology.
Okay, so the science is overwhelming. Nature is incredibly good for us. Physically, mentally, emotionally, cognitively, socially, even immunologically.
Pretty much covers all the bases.
But, and this is a big but, for someone who, spends most of their time inside, maybe identifies as chronically online, jumping straight into like a 5-day backpacking trip might feel impossible, or it's really intimidating.
Totally. And the National Geographic Guide gets that. They're really sensitive to it. They acknowledge the barriers. Maybe you live in a city with hardly any parks. Maybe you have bad allergies or mobility issues. Or maybe you just feel unsafe or awkward outdoors.
Right, lots of valid reasons.
So the guide really emphasizes, take it slow, meet yourself where you are, and absolutely no shame in starting small. The goal isn't conquering a mountain, it's just connection.
That's such a crucial point. It's not about this massive overnight lifestyle change. It's about small, conscious steps.
Incremental choices to weave that physical world connection back into your life.
So what's the very first practical method they suggest? The easiest starting point.
Method 1, bring the outdoors in.
Bring it inside. Okay.
Yeah, this is presented as step 1, the gentlest way to begin. They reference a report by Stacy Colino about nature as medicine, and the research findings here might actually surprise you.
How so? You mean you don't even have to go outside?
Pretty much. The research indicates that even super simple things, like putting a potted plant on your desk where you work.
Okay, I have one of those.
Or just hanging a photograph of, say, ocean waves or a forest scene on your wall. These simple visual cues can offer similar physiological and psychological benefits to actually looking at the real thing outside.
Get out. Seriously. Just looking at a picture of waves helps.
The brain seems to respond positively to those representations of nature. It's kind of amazing.
That is remarkable. So you can start touching grass, metaphorically at least, without leaving your room.
Exactly. And they introduced this really cool concept related to this, natural fractals.
Natural fractals. Okay, what are those exactly? Like math patterns?
Sort of, but found in nature. Think about the repeating patterns you see everywhere outside. The way a tree branches out, the spirals in a fern, the jagged edges of a mountain range.
Oh, right, like a coastline from above or veins on a leaf.
Precisely. Those complex, self-similar patterns that repeat at different scales, those are natural fractals.
Okay, got it. So why are they important for bringing nature in?
Well, the research on fractals they cite is really interesting, especially if you work from home or spend lots of time indoors. Studies show that just looking at these natural fractal patterns produces specific brain activity.
What kind of activity?
Activity associated with a state that's both relaxed and wakeful.
Relaxed but awake. That sounds like the ideal zone for getting work done, right? Calm focus.
Exactly. Not stressed, but alert. Not anxious, but engaged. It seems our brains are kind of hardwired to find these patterns soothing yet stimulating.
Huh. So staring at my fern might actually be good for my productivity.
Potentially. And the guide suggests other ways to bring nature in using other senses too, not just sight.
Like smell, flowers or something.
Yep. Keeping fragrant cut flowers or a potted plant like jasmine or lavender nearby, the scent can trigger relaxation.
Yeah.
Or using an aroma diffuser with essential oil as lavender for calm, maybe rosemary for focus.
Okay, that makes sense. What about sound?
Watching a nature documentary is one way, visually immersive, but also using an app that plays nature sounds, birdsong, rain, ocean waves, wind and trees. These auditory cues can also create that sense of calm and connection.
So the whole sensory toolkit sight, smell, sound, even just looking at patterns, it really loops back to what Holly Ann Passmore said earlier, doesn't it?
It really does. Her point that it's about your relationship with the natural world, not just how many hours you spend physically outside. It's about finding those moments of connection, however small or indirect, especially when getting fully outdoors feels tough.
That makes the whole idea so much more inclusive and, frankly, doable for almost anyone. Okay, so bringing nature in is step 1. What's next if we want to venture out a bit more?
The next method is beautifully simple, like ridiculously simple. Method 2, look up.
Look up as in at the sky.
Yep, look up at the night sky, or even just daytime clouds.
Well, you definitely don't need a beach or mountains for that. Just step outside or look out a window. Cloud gazing is pretty classic.
It is a great way to find a moment of peace. But the source puts a special emphasis on the night sky. There's growing evidence that experiencing a truly dark sky, seeing stars, planets, the moon, clearly fills us with an even deeper sense of awe.
Oh, yeah, that specific feeling. Wonder, maybe a bit of humility when you see something vast and breathtaking.
Exactly that. Julia Flynn Seiler is quoted describing it as a sense of wonder as we contemplate the vastness of the cosmos. That feeling of being tiny but also connected to something immense, maybe even mysterious.
Like when you get away from city lights and just see so many stars. That feeling.
That's the one. And the science linking awe to actual benefits is pretty striking. According to the source, experiencing awe can actually lower inflammatory responses in your body.
Lower inflammation. Just from looking at stars, that's a concrete health benefit.
Yeah, chronic inflammation is tied to so many health problems, and it also seems to calm our nervous system, shifts us out of that fight-or-flight stress mode.
Okay, calming, less inflammation.
And get this, experiencing awe has been shown to trigger the release of oxytocin.
Oxytocin, isn't that the love hormone, like, for bonding?
It is, usually linked to social bonding, parents and kids, partners, trust between people. But it seems looking at the cosmos can trigger a similar feeling of connection, maybe on a more universal scale, like belonging to the universe itself.
Wow, so our biology for connection isn't just about other humans. That's fascinating.
It really is. Plus, focusing on darkness, which you need for stargazing, is critical for our biological clock, our circadian rhythm.
Right, avoiding bright lights at night helps melatonin production for sleep.
Exactly. So avoiding screens and looking at the dark sky encourages your natural melatonin to rise, prepping you for good rest.
Okay, so looking up at night, less stress, maybe less inflammation, feelings of connection, better sleep rhythm, plus profound awe. That's a lot of bang for your buck, and it's so simple.
Totally. And the guide makes it even more actionable. They list specific celestial events coming up, gives you actual dates to aim for.
Oh, like a stargazing calendar for touching grass. What kind of things do they mention?
Well, for this month, they say you can look for glowing bits from Halley's Comet during the Eta Aquariid meteor shower.
Cool. Seeing pieces of a famous comet.
Also this month, witness Saturn's equinox. That only happens once every 15 Earth years. Because of its tilt, the sun shines right on its equator. A pretty rare alignment to see.
15 years. Okay, that's definitely a reason to look up on a specific night.
For sure. Then looking ahead, in August, Venus and Jupiter will have a close encounter look really near each other in the sky. Bright planets.
Nice.
And in September, a blood moon during a total lunar eclipse. Always dramatic.
Having these dates is brilliant. Turns a simple idea into something you can actually schedule and look forward to. Okay, bring nature in, look up. Method 3.
Method 3 combines moving your body with being outside. Basically, take your workout outside, often called green exercise.
Right. Exercise is good anywhere, but doing it outdoors has extra perks.
Seems so. The research they cite has some really interesting findings. Studies suggest workouts might actually feel easier when you do them outside.
Easier. Like running on a trail feels less difficult than on a treadmill, even to the same pace.
Potentially, yeah. Or at least more enjoyable. Your perception of effort might be lower, or your mood higher just from being in nature instead of, staring at a gym wall.
That makes sense. The environment itself is more stimulating, less monotonous.
Exactly. It seems to have this restorative effect, or maybe it's just a better distraction from the exertion. And one study found you might even end up exercising more longer, or more often when you're surrounded by trees compared to blank walls.
So it feels better, and you might do more of it. Win-win.
Pretty much. And beyond just taking any old workout outside, some activities are kind of made for it. The guide highlights hiking as uniquely beneficial.
Ah, hiking. They mention a report specifically on hiking benefits.
Yeah, from Daryl Austin. It details how hiking, often on uneven ground with hills, strengthens your lung tissue and heart muscle more effectively than just walking flat. Also increases bone density. Good for long-term bone health.
So a serious cardiovascular and skeletal workout.
Definitely. But again, it's not just physical. Hiking is also cited for reducing anxiety significantly and improving problem-solving skills.
Less anxiety, better problem solving. That combo sounds amazing. The physical effort plus the nature effect clears your head.
That seems to be the idea. A full body, full mind reset.
And the guide gives inspiration for trails.
Yeah, mention some Nat Geo favorites, wildflower meadows in the U.S.
Not lovely.
Or even historical routes. Ancient walking trails in Swedish forests or desert peaks in Jordan shows the huge variety of landscapes you can hike in.
Good point. Green exercise isn't just forests, deserts, mountains, coasts, even just a local park path.
And they list other fun outdoor activities too. Rowing, pickleball outdoors, cycling, lots of ways to combine movement, nature, and often socializing too.
Pickleball, super popular. Doing it outside definitely counts as touching grass. Plus, it's social, which kind of leads into the next method, maybe.
It does, yeah. Method 4 shifts focus to connecting with other living things more directly. Protect wildlife in your own backyard.
Just watching animals, even birds or squirrels, can feel really calming, right? Meditative.
Totally. And the source cites studies showing that watching or interacting with wildlife enhances feelings of love, belonging, connection, fulfillment.
Love, belonging, connection. Those are deep human needs, just from seeing a bird.
It seems to tap into that sense of ecological connection. And the great thing about this method is how accessible it is. You can do it almost anywhere, anytime, and you're actually helping the wildlife at the same time. It's mutual.
So how do you start? What are some simple ways mentioned?
Starting a garden is a big one, even just containers on a balcony, and specifically using native plants.
Why native plants particularly?
Because local wildlife insects, birds, evolved alongside those specific plants. They rely on them for food, shelter, breeding. Native plants are the base of the local food web. There's a conservation biologist quoted, Stuart Pym, he gives a great example. Plant a few milkweed and monarchs will be forever grateful.
Because monarchs only eat milkweed as caterpillars. So planting it is a direct helpline for them. A real conservation act you can do at home.
Exactly. The guide also suggests making your yard friendly for fireflies. Their numbers are declining globally because of habitat loss and light pollution.
Helping fireflies. That feels like reconnecting with childhood wonder, too.
For sure. And another super simple idea they mention, put up a bird feeder. You can even get ones that attach to your window with suction cups.
Right.
Or hang one near a local bus stop, maybe.
A bird feeder at a bus stop. That's creative. Bringing wildlife observation into a really urban public space.
And they explicitly call this a boon for biodiversity, supporting the variety of life in your local area. Even small acts help maintain that ecosystem health.
Fantastic idea, especially for city folks. Bringing plants in, helping wildlife. These are getting more engaged. Method 5.
Method 5 scales things up quite a bit, especially for U.S. listeners. It's about intentional trips to really significant natural places. Visit a national park.
The big leagues of nature. There are, 63 in the U.S., plus thousands worldwide. Incredible places.
Definitely. And the guide frames visiting one as potentially transformative, like, it'll make you wonder why you didn't touch grass sooner. It's about deliberately getting out of your normal routine and immersing yourself in nature on a grand, often breathtaking scale. These parks preserve wildness.
Stepping into a place where nature is the priority. That concentrated dose of wildness and scale must have a huge impact. Awe on a landscape level. Okay, so plants, sky, exercise, wildlife, national parks. Quite a range. What's next?
The next one connects the physical world not just to nature but also to other humans. Method 6, get social IRL, in real life.
Right. Social media is great for keeping up with far-flung friends, finding niche groups, but the guide draws a key distinction based on research.
Yes, digital connection has its place, absolutely. But the research cited shows consistently that face-to-face contact gives a significantly bigger boost to your mental health and well-being. In-person interaction fosters more trust, deeper intimacy, richer emotional connection than you usually get through screens.
That makes sense. You lose so much nuance online, body language, tone, just shared presence.
Exactly. That physical co-presence is vital. Sam Dalton, a clinical social worker quoted, puts it bluntly. She says essentially, a lot of people feel they lack community, but often you have to actually get out into the world and touch grass if you want to build one.
Wow, that's direct. Building real community requires real-world interaction, stepping out of the digital bubble.
And she suggests really simple ways to start, like knocking on a neighbor's door to borrow sugar, like the good old days. A small, low-stakes physical interaction
Forces you out of your house into a face-to-face moment, however brief.
And there's another point mentioned from Annika Home, asking for help like that. It's not just good for you. It actually gives the other person a sense of purpose and connection because they get to help. It builds that real-world loop of mutual support.
That's a lovely way to think about it. Asking for help is giving someone else a chance to contribute.
The guide also highlights social running groups, a big trend right now that hits multiple points.
Yeah, outdoors, exercise, and social connection. Checks all the boxes.
And Hannah Singleton's point about them is that running side by side, chatting while sharing a physical activity in nature, it can actually lower social anxiety barriers for some people, helps build community bonds in a less formal way.
Great example of layering the benefits. Physical, natural, social, all in one activity.
Okay, and the final method takes touching grass to its broadest possible scale. Method 7, go see the world.
So beyond armchair travel online, actually exploring the globe, the ultimate physical immersion.
Right. And the source taps into Nat Geo's expertise here, mentioning their list of the 25 best places to travel in 2025 for inspiration.
So this is about experiencing different landscapes, cultures, cities, physically being there. What examples do they give?
They mentioned Kanazawa, Japan, near Kyoto but maybe quieter, known for its preserved tea houses, amazing gardens like Kenroku-in, a samurai district, a blend of culture and nature.
Sounds like a place to really engage your senses. See the gardens, hear the tea houses, feel the history.
Another one, Senegal in West Africa. They suggest taking a cooking class or a street food tour, experiencing the culture through its vibrant Wolof and French-influenced food, often outdoors in markets or kitchens.
Ah, food and markets. Very sensory ways to connect with the place and its people. Definitely touching grass.
And for September, Cork, Ireland. Specifically for the sounds from a safe arbor festival, music, dance, talks. Immersing yourself in a local community's creative energy.
These examples really show it's not just about wild landscapes. It's about physically experiencing different cultures, foods, communities, stuff you just can't get from a screen.
Exactly. And the core benefit of travel, of touching grass globally, according to the experts cited, it helps you gain totally new perspectives about your own place in the world, your role in it, encountering different ways of life, vast landscapes, navigating the unfamiliar. It broadens your horizons, literally and figuratively.
Forces you out of your usual bubble, your default viewpoint.
And Holly-Ann Passmore ties this back to her earlier points. She says experiencing the wider world, it makes you realize that you're part of a greater whole.
That feeling again. Connection, not just local, but global. To the planet, to humanity's diversity.
Exactly. Countering that potential isolation or narrowness of too much digital focus, it feels essential.
Okay, so looking back at this whole Nat Geo guide, we've covered a huge spectrum, from a plant on your desk or looking at the stars, to exercising outside, helping local wildlife, visiting national parks, to making real-life social connections, and even traveling the globe.
Yeah, the phrase touching grass is simple, but the ways to actually do it are incredibly varied and nuanced, much broader than you might first think.
And the guide really hammers home that core message, backed by all that science, making that conscious choice to disconnect, even briefly, from the virtual and reconnect with the physical natural world.
In whatever way works for you, whatever's accessible.
It isn't just a nice-to-have or some fleeting trend. It's essential for physical health, mental resilience, social connection. The evidence is just too strong.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? How much we might be missing out on or sacrificing by being so constantly tethered to screens. The benefits of the alternative real-world engagement are just too significant to ignore.
Yeah, it's not dismissing the digital world entirely, but recognizing the profound value of the physical one.
Absolutely. It takes that conscious effort, often, to step out of that default digital state, to build or rebuild that relationship with nature and physical reality, one small step or maybe one grand journey at a time.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on. It builds on that quote from Holly-Ann Passmore about realizing you're part of a greater whole.
Okay.
If connecting with nature, whether it's watching a bird in your yard or contemplating the entire cosmos, if that helps us feel this deep belonging, this connection to something bigger, what responsibility does that feeling of connection imply we might have towards that natural world?
Interesting question.
If nature gives us so much health, calm, connection, perspective, what do we owe it in return?
Right. Does connection imply stewardship?
Exactly. Something to think about next time you, make that choice to actually touch grass.
Thanks for being with us today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tap the bell to keep the good vibes going. Let's join into healing our little world one step at a time, together. And all this is Tangerine Planet. Until next time.